Hi everyone, welcome to the Among Us Plush Take and Make program. Today I will be showing you how to make a crewmate keychain, just like this one. So first we will be going over what supplies we got in our Take and Make kits, and then we will get started.
So in your kit, you received a template that we'll be using for our sew and craft, a bag of fluff, some black string, 2 pieces of felt, one colored and one white square. And also in the manila envelope is a keychain and a needle, so be very careful when you open that up. Some other supplies that you will need is a thin black sharp marker, like a Sharpie, and a very sharp pair of scissors. The sharper the better.
So for the first step, we're going to take our stencil sheet that we got in our kits, and we are going to just cut these out. So for these two, we're going to cut around the edges, like there, and then for these two, we're going to cut these middle parts out. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so now we have our 4 paper pieces and we are going to trace these onto the felt. So let's take the colored felt and the white square that came in our kit and we will lay these out. So you'll place the crewmate body on top of the felt, and then with a thin black sharp Sharpie, you will trace around, make sure they have a little bit of space in between. And then you will also take this piece and put this over here too. So these 3 pieces we will be tracing on the colored felt. And now we can take these off and we'll trace the front of our crewmate with the white circle. And now once we have all of our felt pieces traced, we will cut them out of the felt. So for cutting the felt, you're going to want a pair of very sharp scissors to help cut very fine lines. So let's get cutting. And for this part, you're going to want to take your time cutting very slowly and carefully. Okay, and once we have our 4 felt pieces laid out, we can prepare to start sewing. So for the body parts, it might be helpful that where there's black marker to sew those on the inside. So you can place them together like this, and then also you can use this to measure and make sure they're about the same size as each other. And if one is slightly bigger, you can use the scissors just to trim and kind of clean it up so that they're both almost identical. All right, so now we are ready to start sewing. The sewing style that we will be using is called the blanket stitch. I gave you a link that is on your Take and Make instructions with a helpful video to watch. It can be a little bit tricky, but once you get the hang of it, after playing around with it a few times, you'll be able to get it. So first we're going to choose one of these to be the front, and then the other will be the back. Doesn't matter which, since they're both the same. And then we will take our needle, and we will also take our thread. We will cut a piece. Make sure you cut it long enough. There's plenty of string here. I usually do about my shoulder to shoulder, well actually like arms extended, that length. And then a little extra. So once you have your string, you're going to take your needle and thread it through the eye. And once you have your string through, you're going to double the thread. Okay, and at the end of the needle, just tie a little knot. And then we will start sewing. We will sew his face on first. So for this, you're going to lift up the white felt and thread the needle only through that one side. So pull the thread all the way through. Don't worry about this, we'll cut that off later. And then you're going to go through both the white and the purple. Trying to go through that same hole. And pulling it through. You'll want the thread to be raised a little bit like that, and then you're going to take your needle and go through, and then go through the white and the purple fabric. So that is the first stitch. And we're just going to do this stitch all around. make our final knot. So we're going to go through again, and as we pull through, we're not going to pull it all the way. We're going to come back through this and form a knot and pull that. And now our front is done. I accidentally sewed it a little bit crooked, but that's okay. The back should kind of look like this with the stitches. And now we can cut off the needle. And these extra threads. Okay, so once we're done with this, we're going to work on sewing them together. So you'll line them up, and we're going to do basically the same technique. This makes sure to give yourself a lot more string. I would say give yourself double the amount. So I took my string and I stretched it from as far as my arms could go, and then I did that twice. And that's how I got the length of my string. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna thread our needle through the eye. And then double it. And once you get to the end, we'll tie a little knot here. Make sure to double knot it and to pull it really tight. Okay, so now we're going to start the same way. You could start towards the bottom half, and we're going to sew just around to the top, leaving a space open to put the stuffing in. So we'll start the same way. We're going to lift up the top fabric, the top felt piece, and thread through just one side. And then having the needle go down. Now going through both pieces of fabric. You're going to start to pull it through, and then your needle is going to loop under, and then you pull. And then that's our starter stitch. And now we're going to use the same method as before. So we'll go down through both fabric pieces and then up. And you'll see Okay, and once we get towards the top, we're going to stop sewing and we're going to stuff our crewmate with the filling. So you want to take your fingers to create some space in there. Actually, I'm going to do one more. I'll take my stuffing and using a little bits at a time. Just taking it and stuffing it in there. Put a good amount of stuffing. I'm going to sew a little bit more and then I'm going to add a little bit more to fill this part out. So let's continue sewing. And then let's do our final stitch to close it. So we'll go through the felt, start to pull it through. There is our Among Us crewmate. So now we just have one last piece to sew on, which is for the keychain. So let's cut the needle off. And you can cut off any extra thread. And flip him over. Let's cut some more string. So I'm going to use this extra string, but you don't need very much. And so we're going to sew this the same way we sewed this side. So we'll place this down. And then going from about towards the bottom, you're going to just go take the needle and go up. Oh, no, you're not. Then going down and getting your needle to come out close And then we'll place the keychain in once we're about halfway to the top. And then we'll just sew. This could be a little bit tricky, but we're just going to continue sewing around the keychain. Once we're all stitched up, we'll do our knot. And then we will cut off the extra string. And we are finished. So here is our finished Among Us keychain. So I know this sewing can be a little bit tedious, but if you watch the YouTube video I provided, and if you just be very patient with it, you'll be able to get the hang of it. It just takes a little bit of practice. So that is our finished Among Us craft. So I hope you enjoyed this program, and I look forward to our next craft together. All right, thank you for joining me. Bye.